Hey everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I want to talk about something that's been a part of my life, unfortunately, for a couple of years, but I think I finally found a way to make it better, and I thought that maybe some of you might also be interested in this. And that is dealing with leg pigmentation. I had a horrendous post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation on my legs from ingrown hairs that I picked. Don't be like me, don't do that. It took a very long time to heal, and I almost thought that those would become permanent scars that I couldn't get rid of. However, I did find some things that really helped speed up the process, and even though overall it took a long time, I think you could probably do it a lot faster than I did, because along the ways I learned some of the things that if I had to redo this, I would have done differently. So back in 2020, I decided that I was sick of shaving. I'm not a candidate for laser for various reasons, partially because I'm blonde, partially because one of my legs is completely covered in a tattoo, but I thought I will try epilating instead. And if you're not familiar, an epilator is this medieval torture device that is basically a series of little metal things on a spinning base that capture your hair and rip it out from the skin. Sounds amazing, feels just as it sounds pretty much, but if it saves me time on shaving and I could go a couple of weeks without it, that would be great. So I got used to the process more or less, and I started doing it, and I started getting horrendous ingrown hairs. In case you can't tell by the video, I am very pale, so on the one leg that is not covered in the tattoo, I could really notice those ingrown hairs, and my first impulse was to pick them out, as I'm sure a lot of us would do. Well, that left me with unsightly red marks that would stick around for weeks and weeks and weeks, and unfortunately I kept getting ingrown hairs and I kept picking at them, and the problem just kept getting worse. You have to forgive the before picture because it was taken when I was talking to a friend on Messenger, and we were just discussing like summer attire, and I was complaining about my pigmentation and stuff like that. So this was not meant to be a professional before picture for a post or something like that, because I honestly didn't know if that stuff would ever fade. So it is what it is. My after picture is taken in a different light, a better light, but you can still hopefully see that it's still my leg. It is definitely the same leg. Like I said, I have the other one completely covered in tattoos, and you can even tell that it's still not perfect. There's still some discoloration spots on the after picture as well. It is still a work in progress. So here are my tips. The tip number one is do not pick your ingrown hairs. Do not do it. It is not worth it. If you see one, most likely it will work itself out, or you can use a gentle exfoliating technique or a tool to dislodge that. My favorite thing to use are these little Korean exfoliating towels. A lot of the times shops will throw them in with your order for free. Jolzy is notorious for doing that. But you basically soak in a tub or take a nice warm shower and then put this on your hand. Just slips in like a little pocket, and get it wet, and then gently rub the affected area. And this is actually a great exfoliation for the body in general. Do not rub too hard, it gets a little bit intense. So start slow. It seems like such an innocent little piece of fabric, but it can get really intense, so proceed with caution. But it can help kind of take off that top little thin layer of skin and get that hair free. Number two is find the cause of your ingrown hairs. For me, it was epilating, and no matter what I did, I watched some tips and tricks videos on what to do and how to minimize that, and nothing worked. Unfortunately, I had to give epilating up completely, and I had to go back to shaving. And with shaving, I will tell you, shave in the direction of hair growth, not against it. If you grew up like me in the 90s and the early 2000s and you remember the Venus commercials, people always shave from the ankle up against the direction of hair growth. And while that does give you a smoother shave, it can be a little too smooth, and it traps the hair under the skin, and you're more likely to get ingrown hairs. So definitely shave in the direction of hair growth. The difference in the smoothness is minimal, but it is definitely worth it to not have ingrown hairs. My next tip is to gently exfoliate to prevent ingrowns. This little thing that I already showed you does work, or you can use a leave-on product. I usually either get something with BHA or AHA, and I try to go for something that comes in a bigger size. These would be typically face products. I know there's some body-specific ones, but I find the face ones are more easily available, and there's just a lot more choice. Plus, being a content creator, I always have a ton of face stuff laying around. So right now I'm using this Dr. Ceuracle Tea Tree Purifine 70 toner. It looks like this. I just apply that after I bathe, and then I put on some other products as well. This has tea tree leaf extract to soothe, BHA complex, and AHA fruit complex. The next tip is to stay away from the sun or use sunscreen or cover up. Dr. Dre, the famous dermatologist, she does her Q&As where you drop questions on her Instagram and she'll answer in the stories. Unfortunately, I did not save a screenshot, but I asked her actually what to do about my pigmentation on the legs, and she answered my question in the stories. And what she said was just stay away from the sun and wait. That it's just a long haul game of waiting. Tip number 5 is to use some of the ingredients that we already know and love for our face that can help fade pigmentation and prevent new pigmentation from happening, such as niacinamide, azelaic acid, centella asiatica, etc. Again, I go for larger sizes. One of my favorite things, and this is not my first bottle, you'll see it's pretty full, but this is like my, I think, second or third. This is the ELMT, one of their solutions. This one's the gentle exfoliating one with AHA and vitamin C. It's very watery, so that's nice because you can cover a large area of the body with not that much product. Again, I just apply that after I bathe while the skin is just a little bit damp, and then I will layer some other stuff. I basically have been doing a body care routine like I do for my face. I initially thought, well, this is a wasteful practice, but then I thought, well, no, this is my body and it's important too, and it's skin and it ages and it discolors and does all these other things, so I might as well treat it like I want to keep it for a while. This same brand, ELMT, has another solution. I think it's the Illuminating one with niacinamide that I've also used successfully. And then my favorite product, and I feel like it's the one that made the most difference, is the TM vitamin B serum. I forget the exact name now, but I will put a picture somewhere here. I'm unfortunately out of it now, but that was also wonderful. And another great ingredient to try for redness is azelaic acid. I've only tried one product with it, and it's this Cause BAHA Azelaic Acid 10 Serum. It looks like this. It's one of the more affordable options on the market, but you can definitely experiment with what you think works for you. And then I would seal all of that in with a nice lotion or body cream or whatever you want, doesn't matter. Just don't let all of this sit there and evaporate. Put some sort of occlusive layer onto that, and I usually do all of that in the evening. My next tip is to be super patient. This took so long, and I almost thought that this was never going to get better, but looking at the before and after pictures, definitely it got better. And I actually haven't taken the pictures of when it was the worst. I seriously had a huge gash on my leg one time to the point that somebody asked me if I was okay or what happened, because it looked like, I don't know, I ran into a nail or something. It was so bad. Just don't pick. And I don't know, maybe people with skin that is a little bit deeper than mine, who are not so fair, maybe on them it's just not as noticeable. But on me, if I look at my skin wrong, it turns red and everything just stands out extra. My last tip, and I think the most important one, is no matter what your legs, face, body, whatever, no matter what anything looks like, wear whatever the heck you want. Wear the shorts, wear the skirt, wear the bathing suit. Do whatever makes you feel good, and don't feel like you have to hide things just because they're imperfect by society standards. It is something that took me years and years and years to learn. I am 32, or I'll be 33 here soon, and I can't believe how long it took for me to learn that it's okay to wear a garment just because it's comfortable, that I'm more than my body and I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Just recently, I kept a pair of overalls that I love because they're so cozy, but they seriously make me look like I'm a lot bigger than I am, and I almost returned them just for that purpose. And then I thought, well, what's the point? It is not my sole purpose in life to look as small as I possibly can. So I kept them, and they're amazing. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have your own tips for body care, especially when it comes to pigmentation, please drop them in the comments. I put links for everything that I talked about in the description box, and if I have reviews on my blog for those products, I will link those as well. You can find me on Instagram at KBeautyHobbit, my blog KBeautyHobbit.com, and in my Facebook group Korean Beauty Fanatics. I hope I'll see you in my next video. Until then, please remember to always listen to your skin. Thank you so much. Bye.